Hello, good morning, everybody. This is Vinil here from Service Next, and I'm joined in by my colleagues Zubair, Zishan, and Milind. Welcome, and we see that participants are already coming in, so we'll just give a couple of minutes before we start off. Yeah, I think yeah, I'll just give one more minute and we'll start off the conversation for today. So while we wait for a minute, we'll kick off the conversation by setting, giving some engagement tips today. So at any point in time during the discussion, if you have any questions, you can either raise a hand or put a comment in the chat section. And we are all five panelists here. We have people looking at all your questions and comments, and we'll be able to respond back. So we'll make it as interactive as possible. We can field as many questions as possible. If not, what we'll do is we have the email ID from which a particular question came in, and we'll consolidate all of them and make sure that all the questions are answered. So I think we can start off now. Thank you all again for joining in today's conversation. So today we are going to talk about, in the next 60 minutes, we'll talk about how AI and machine learning are revolutionizing IT operations. And we'll also talk about what ServiceNext has to offer from a value standpoint, how we are solving large scale problems, especially in the IT service desk function. I hope everybody is able to hear me clearly. If I'm not audible clearly, please interrupt at any point in time so that I'll make sure that I'm speaking closer to the phone. So that said, let me kick off by talking about a few of the recent trends, right? We work very closely with a lot of industry analysts, including Gartner. We partner very closely with Gartner to look at what's happening around IT operations, especially. We've been having a lot of discussions, and according to a recently released Gartner Market Watch, it says that the next 2 years, CIOs who adopt AI in IT operations will be able to better serve the business in two very significant ways. One, they will be able to better predict system and network downtimes and thereby proactively fix and avoid or minimize at least disruption to the business, which means moving the current IT operations setup, which is a very reactive organization design, to moving to a proactive and predictive support methodology, right? So that's number one key KRA or key KPIs that CIOs are trying to achieve. Two, they would also want to automate a significant portion of their existing run the business function by automating a lot of the repeated tasks that are happening today, and a lot of resources is being spent on there. So they want to automate them and free up resources and invest that in strategic initiatives like improving customer support or investing in data mining for better monetization opportunities and other initiatives, which can give the businesses a competitive edge, right? So that's been the trend, and ServiceNext is right in that space where we are helping a lot of CIOs from large enterprises in deploying solutions which are AI and machine learning powered to achieve these KPIs. So at a very top level, what does ServiceNext do? We are a smart bots and AI ops company focused on automating three functions today: marketing, customer support, and enterprise service desk. So that's our focus area. And just before I directly jump into what ServiceNext does, what is the value proposition, what's happening in the industry, here's the agenda that I would want to follow today. We'll talk about we already talked about a little bit of AI trends, what are the challenges and opportunities in the service management space. We'll look at what ServiceNext Smartbots and AIOps solutions bring to the table for IT service desk function. And we'll also spend some time in looking at some real-time demos and also spend a little time on how we could build a ROI model, right? So that we can the better we build a business case, the better we understand the nuances of what are the problems, existing challenge in a service desk environment, and if we automate them, what would be the benefits or the outcomes that an enterprise could gain out of that, followed by a Q&A. Hopefully, this is a good enough agenda for all of us. So a little bit on the introduction. I am Vinil Vadi. I am the CEO and co-founder of ServiceNext, which is a group company of Sunera Technologies, as a much larger organization. Just to give you a little bit overview of Sunera Tech, our focus areas are, we've been a 15-year-old company, cloud first company. Our focus areas have been IT automation, cloud migration, and digital innovation. So we have several platforms within these three focus areas, and ServiceNext is one of the products that we have, or platforms that we have in the digital innovation suite of products that we offer. We are headquartered in the USA, in San Jose, and we have multiple product offices in the Midwest in Chicago, East in Michigan. We have down south in Dallas. We are about 1,000 consultants strong, and multi-geography presence, including India and the UK. Okay? And our focus has been mostly large enterprise ecosystems because we understand we all come from that solving large-scale enterprise problems, and we know how to navigate the enterprise. We are very well versed with the nuances of bringing a solution to an enterprise, which would mean navigating the security, governance, which would mean navigating integrations with existing systems, both upstream and downstream, understanding the enterprise systems like SAP, Oracle, or your ERP ecosystem, or your CRM, or your ServiceNow, or your CA service desk, whatever it is, right? So we are well versed with that. So our focus has been on large scale enterprises. So that's about a little bit of ServiceNext and on Sunera Tech. And then ServiceNext, we work with a lot of large enterprises. We are currently processing more than 250 million interactions across IT service desk, HR functions, and financial functions. And by the year end, I think we would do almost over 1 billion. We would automate over 1 billion conversations. So that said, going to what we do at ServiceNext, like I said, we have Smartbots for marketing, customer support, and IT and HR service desk. So that's on the functional side. On the vertical side, we are focused on conversational banking, bringing Smartbots to banking, communication space, and e-commerce as a space. So let me now, so for today's conversation, I think the focus is on how do we build intelligent IT operations, right? So like I was saying, the focus seems to be, or the next 2 years, the focus and the KPIs for CIO seems to be how do we move from a reactive IT operations organization to becoming a proactive IT organization. So that said, according to Gartner, the three most important components which could help us chart or transform the IT service organization to being proactive are how can we automate using bots? How can we automate repeatable tasks, right? So that's all about task automation bots like your password resets and so on and so forth. And then how can we automate a large portion of the ticket lifecycle management today, right? For that, we would use ticker automation bots. And then finally, the final piece of the puzzle is how can we predict by understanding a lot of the current application logs or data streams that we have in the enterprise. How can we read that? How can we use machine learning, find trends and patterns, and how can we predict incidents before they occur, and then proactively resolve them even before they occur. So, like I said, talking about some of the top challenges, current challenges, we work with about 30 plus large enterprises in automating their IT help desk operations, service desk operations. And for us, what we have seen is the top 5 challenges are, too many unstructured or you can say unstructured tickets being created or IT requests being created, longer resolution times, lost issues, and then the most important piece is repetitive and time-consuming tasks. Right? So those seem to be the or the top 5 challenges plaguing the IT service desk systems today. Right? Now, while we started designing this solution about 3 years ago, the way we looked at how Smartbots and AIOps can transform the IT service desk as a function, we looked at transformational journey, and we started off by mapping what are the key KRAs for any CIO organization would be over the next 2-3 years, right? So then we came up with the 5 most important KRAs, they being better deflection, enhanced compliance, which is very, very important today. Governance, security is a key piece today. Reduced costs, of course, we don't have new money for support especially. And then increasing first call resolution, which is very key to having an optimized service desk, and of course improving help desk agent productivity, right? By mapping these 5 things, then we started charting out solutions like how can we bring in better deflection using bots. So then, we kind of took bots and then said, okay, if bots can do access management better, if they can increase self-service, that will be great. And similarly, in asset management, we have charted several use cases there in issue submission. So like that, we came up with Smartbots, which can help achieve the metrics or the key KRAs for each of these, KPIs. So that's how we kind of look at, when we look at an enterprise, we look at it from a transformation journey perspective, and then we start off implementing solutions there. Right? Now, as an automation solution, we are a full stack, full integrated solution for service desk automation. We have 3 main components inside that. Like I talked about earlier, we have AI Next, which is Smartbots and AIOps. We also have ITSM Next, where we bring in a lot of automation to your existing ITSM tool set that you have. And Support Next is a managed services managed services service offering that we have, where we can take take over your entire service desk and then operate it purely on an SLA-based service. So going back to a little focus on AI ops and Smartbots for service desk. So like I was talking about, what do we bring to the table in terms of Smartbots and AI ops? So going by the previous experience with some of the large telecom and banking customers that have been using our solution, they've been successfully able to automate 60% of all their desktop-based requests using bots which can help users with self-service, as well as they can look at your existing knowledge base and then propose solutions to users so that we can increase the self-service rate in an organization, thereby automating 60% of all the repeatable tasks like password resets or asset management use cases or email issues or troubleshooting and things like that. So there are about 31 use cases. I'll take you through them. And of course, we have bots. Enterprises, some of the enterprises use our bots to better triage an issue. So the bot can understand once you type in an issue, the bot can better understand, and it gets smarter over time in terms of what the exact issue is, so that better triage can result in faster response as well as faster resolution, right? And then of course, so our AI ops solutions, based on specific data streams, we are able to predict whether it's a Java virtual machine that you have or it's a custom application that has been written. We are able to, go through all the application log streams and the warnings and stuff, and then we are able to find out patterns in it and repeatable patterns in it, and we are able to predict, whether it's a out of memory database going out of memory or a log file going out of memory, whatever the incident, we are able to predict that with 40% accuracy today. So I'll just take a 30-second break and see if anybody has any questions. Yeah. Okay. So my team is on standby, and they can take any questions that you might have. Okay. I think I got a question here. Let me take a quick look at it. Okay. Chat. I open it. Okay. Sure. So I think let me I'll let my team consolidate all the questions. So meanwhile, if you have any question that I can see, I'll be able to answer it. Now, from a Smartbots perspective, we've talked about what are all the capabilities. Now, let's also look at what are all the use cases that we can automate using an IT help desk bot. Right? So we have about, our Smartbots can do 6 distinct functions in authentication management, access and authorization management, incident management, self-service, proactive outage information, and asset management. So these are the 6 segments where the Smartbot comes pre-built with functionality. I will take you through that when I do the demo. Right? So in authentication management, bots can help users with password resets, and those passwords can be at a network level password reset, or they could be your enterprise applications, both on cloud, it could be a cloud-based applications like a Salesforce, or it could be an on-prem application like your Oracle or your database or any custom application. It could be for your office applications like your Microsoft or your messaging platforms like a Slack. So whatever the authentication management, whatever system, the application can reset a password for the user. Then comes access and authorization management. This is related to where there's workflow involved, and the access could be for a particular enterprise application access. It could be for a network shared drive folder, or or a custom portal that you might have. So whatever, or an employee is looking for a email distribution, being part of an email distribution list or delegating email. So there are several use cases that we have automated, and these can be deployed for an enterprise. And then moving on to ITSM and incident management. Um, so the pods are able to, I will also take you through this demo, but the pod is able to take the entire, manage the entire life cycle of an incident recording, where the bot is able to triage the issue, the bot is able to ask for additional information, then it can create the ticket. The bot is also able to monitor similar such incidents being reported, and it can accumulate all of that and promote it to a problem, right? And then create that problem and then assign it to the right resource or the stakeholder within the system, right? And subsequently, the bot also has the capability to integrate with your ITSM tool. It could be ServiceNow, or it could be any other ITSM tool, and it is able to manage that whole workflow. So on the self-service side of things, the bots are able to guide the users through let's say if you are having email issues or whatever, the bot is able to guide you through a wizard-like process so that users can self-troubleshoot the issue and try and resolve it. So I've got a question here. Can it also assist with helping a user setting up multi-factor authentication with their phones? Yeah, of course. And we have done this use case for a telecom customer down in Miami, which is one of the largest telecom multi-vendor operator or MVNOs, right? They have a workforce of more than 16,000 people, and then they were looking at assisting, bringing users using their Active Directory and moving a lot of that to their smartphones. So yeah, we did that, and we'll be able to do that. Now, moving on to the next sector, outage information. So this is proactive outage information where I can subscribe to alerts for a particular set of systems that I'm interested in, and I can get a page, or I can get a text message, or I can get a Slack message, and then I'll be able to look at additional details like who are the affected parties or the end users, and we can do that complicated reporting. We can create that so that the organization can respond faster. The service desk organization can respond faster to the outages. And of course, asset management is, again, we have a set of standard APIs that we build. I have another question here. Do you have experience integrating with Sharewell? Of course, we are one of Sharewell's 3 key partners for enabling AI and Smartbot integration. We are incidentally their only technology alliance partner. They call that TAP. We are their only technology alliance partner for bot and AI-based automation. So we work very, very closely with Sharewell. We recently designed a large automation for a Sharewell-based service desk for an auto manufacturing company which has multi-location. They have 9 factories around the world, and they have a workforce of close to 6,500 people across the globe, and they deployed Sharewell, and on top of that, we built a lot of these Smartbot functions. So that's on Sharewell and our partnership. Yeah, I'll spend some more time there in a bit. So that's about the capabilities and the use cases that we have. I'll go back to AI ops in a little while. Um, okay, so somebody asked for Sharewell, so intelligent service desk with Sharewell. This is something that we do very well. So let me spend a minute on the platform, the underlying technology before I move on to a demo. Yeah. So the our bots, the way it is structured is basic NLP capabilities, basic NLP, voice recognition, context, customer profiling. All these base intelligent services are powered by a combination of best of breed technologies that we adopted to build our AI core, ServiceNext AI core. So AI Core has all these functionalities, but they are based on a combination. We use a combination of Google's TensorFlow, Amazon's Lex, and Amazon Poly. We also use a little bit of IBM cognitive services, but majorly it is Google's TensorFlow and Amazon Web Services. So we did that because we wanted it to be very dependable and future-proof. On top of that, we built our enterprise integrations across. We have about out of box 30 plus business app integrations, which include your CRMs, ERPs, like popular ones like Oracle, SAP. From a service desk perspective, we integrate with ServiceNow, Sharewell, BMC, Manage Engine, and to name a few. And we also integrate with your custom enterprise solutions, like, if you have a custom service desk, we integrate that using API-based integrations. We come with out-of-box Active Directory integrations, and we also have a lot of CRM and outage management integrations, including Splunk and a variety of any other observability tools that you might use in your enterprise today. So just wanted to spend some time there before I move on to the demo. So for today's demo, because we don't have too much time, I will limit it to some of the use cases. So let me, is everybody, can you see my screen? Yeah, okay. Looks like everybody is able to see my screen. So this is how a Smartbot is. So a Smartbot can be deployed on your service catalog portal if you have one, or it can be deployed as a person in your Slack or in your Skype, right? Or any other channel that you might want to deploy the bot on. So what happens is when I first come here, then the bot, you can see that the outage service, these are the alerts. So the users can look at, okay, what are the enterprise systems that are down and when they will come back up, what is the ETA for them. So then, you are avoiding a lot of ticket creations, right? So that's how we are able to better deflect. In one organization, in one enterprise customer that we worked in, outage information reduced 40% of the incoming tickets that were getting created. So that worked out very well. Now, as soon as I say get started, so this is where the personalization begins. So to identify a user, we have multiple ways of doing that. For an enterprise IT user, we can identify them using a two-factor authentication, a mobile number, and a one-time password. We can do a direct AD integration for the user to use the user ID and password, or we can also do a custom application. So, for example, if you have a service desk, like ServiceNow, everybody has a ServiceNow password for that. Then we can use the same service ITSM tool password. So we have multiple strategies. In this case, I am using a two-factor authentication, which is a mobile number and a one-time password. So here you can see that it has taken my mobile number and it has sent me a text message. So let me look at that. Okay, 8945. So once I put in the one-time password that I got in the text message, then it has identified me as Vinil Vadi. And then it shows me a custom service catalog, personalized custom service catalog. Now this service catalog that I'm seeing here is personalized to me based on two things. One is what are all the systems that are accessible to me, that it has gone to the AD and it has looked at the applications that I have, and it has populated those applications that I might have an access with. And second, based on my previous tickets, whatever tickets that I've raised, it has prioritized based on that. And third, what are the current issues that are being reported throughout the enterprise, right? Based on these three factors, it has constructed a custom catalog for me, right? Now let's say email issues. So I'm having email issues today. So what happens is then I'll say I'm unable to send and receive the email. Now these again are suggestions coming from the ServiceNow. In this case, the bot is integrated with a ServiceNow instance, and from the ServiceNow it has picked up these keywords saying, okay, the problem could be these three, most probably, and then I picked one from them. When I said unable to send and receive email, it's giving me, it has gone to the knowledge base and it is giving me a step-by-step process in which I can, if I follow, I could resolve this. Now let's say, even after following that, I'm not able to resolve the issue. So then it asks me to unable to send emails. So then it asks me for a description of the particular issue. And once it receives the description, what it does is it creates a ticket in my ServiceNow and allocates it to the right stakeholder who can resolve that issue. Now, what we can do is once the ticket got created, I can go and see what is the status on them. Yeah, so you can see that unable to send emails, 369, this ticket is there. Now I can update that. So 369, now I can go ahead and update this, or, I can go and look at my previous tickets and update them. Now let's go to ServiceNow here. Oops, I got logged out. Let me log back in. And you can see that, yeah, 395 is right here. 396. So this is the one that we created. The ticket was created by the bot. It came in with a low priority. In fact, it's low. It was allocated to the system administrator. Okay. So I can manipulate the entire ticket, the entire details, and I can also manipulate the workflow of the ticket creation. So let's look at some other functionalities for some other services here. Now let's say I want to access a particular SharePoint folder. Right? So what it is asking me to do is give the email ID. I shared my email ID with the bot, and then it has given me an access, right? So what it did was, in the back end, the bot went, and you can see that it sent me an email. So I requested for banking bots. Now it sent me an email, and I can go to the SharePoint and, I have access to the folder and I can start looking at the solutions here, or the documents here. So that's some of the thing. And in this case, we can also put in complicated workflows, like, the bot can take this request and send an email to the content administrator. that administrator can click on a link, or he can just click on a button saying approve the access, and then the bot comes back and it can take the request, and it can inform the user saying that okay, your request has been granted and things like that. So the whole bunch of complicated execution workflow can be built in this. In the demo case, we have a very simplified workflow, but in the real life scenario, there is a lot of approvals that keep happening. Now, like I was talking about previously on how we come integrated with Active Directory. So let's look at, let's try to create a new user and see how the bot integrates with the Active Directory as a service. So let's create a sample user here. So it's asking me for a first name, last name, then for a mobile number, 888-777-6666. So it has taken, what the bot has done is it has taken these three key details and it's created a ticket in ServiceNow with the ticket number, and parallelly it has also created a user for me, right? It went to the Active Directory and it has created a new user for me. Now we are not showing these user details because of our security policies here. So these are not visible. We kind of mask them. And let's also look at if the ticket got created with 397. So let me go back. So 397 got created. This ticket got created. Now let's go to Azure and see if that user got created in the Azure database. So the name I think was test, or yeah, test webinar. There you go. This is the user that we created, and you can see that, like I was saying, we are masking the details because of the security policy. So we jumbled up the data, but you can see that this is the first name and this is the mobile number with which we entered the details. Right. So now, because it is integrated with Active Directory, now I can take the user, create the user. I can go to a directory role and give him a particular access to the role, or add that user to a group. I can give him access to all the applications within the Active Directory environment. I can give him access to all the enterprise licenses that you might have. I can give him access to the devices within the enterprise. So all the AD resources now can be manipulated from here for that particular user's, role-based access control. So that's how we are kind of tightly integrated with Active Directory also, right? So that's about some of the features and functionality that I wanted to show you on the Smartbots. Now moving back, so wanted to cover a couple of more topics. Yeah. So from a service desk point of view, a lot of people would say, okay, what is the differentiation out there? There are hundreds of bots, right? Now, from a service desk perspective, we are differentiated in three distinct ways. One is we are not just a smart bot with some bot transaction capabilities, but we understand the nuances of enterprise security. That's number one for us. And number two would be for us the AI that we built specifically for service desk. So that means today we come with 300 plus intents that are pre-built in the bot, which means that the bot naturally understands what an outage is. The bot naturally understands issues within authentication. And when somebody says, I can't log into my computer, can you help? Then the bot now understands that this is an authentication issue and kicks off the resolution workflow from there. So this is pre-built for service desk, and this is the horizontal AI or the vertical AI that we developed for service desk as a function. That's the second. So what happens is, because you have this, there is a lot of acceleration that we can gain. So what is the acceleration? So within 120 days, you will have a fully automated IT help desk at your disposal. Right? Now within 60 days, you will be able to automate all your issue, incident management and authentication management issues like password resets, and so on and so forth. By 120 days, you will be able to deploy outage notifications. You will be able to deploy ITSM integration, automation. By the end of 6 months, you will have automated all 31 processes, including asset management, and you would have deep insights into which areas of IT service desk that you might want to automate. So I was talking about three different differentiations. This is the third differentiation. We understand how to manage a fully secure cloud deployment of the bot. We also understand how enterprise integrations work. Most importantly, we understand conversational design. So which means that the key success factor for adoption within bots has to be an empathetic workflow, right? Otherwise, it becomes a click-based, service catalog, self-service catalog that you would have hosted, and very less adoption that you would have seen. But bots have to be where users are. Bots have to be easily accessible to your IT users, and the workflow for, let's say, if you're trying to reset a password, the workflow has to be very empathetic and has to be proactive. So we understand conversational design, and we have about more than 50 plus conversational design experts who work with us to navigate the enterprise service desk automation function. We also have bot training and testing experience for large enterprises. We understand the nuances of how important it is to test security, to test compliance, to test internal governance, to navigate internal governance policies, and to make sure that we align with those policies. So that's on the differentiation. And what we also offer is, so from a differentiation standpoint, the solution is a easy pay-as-you-go model, so which is a flexi-based pricing model. So there's no huge upfront investment that needs to be done. You can see ROI kick in less than 3 months. And we also offer, this is something unique. We've been able to garner a lot of traction because we offer a no-risk POV, proof of value, which means you get to pick 3 use cases, and we come and deploy those 3 use cases in the live environment. So this is not a POC, but a proof of value, which means we invest in taking it to production so that you can measure what is the adoption and what is the effectiveness of the bot. Right? And so that's basically what differentiates us and our approach to building IT automation bots. So I think there is some time left. There is about 15 minutes left for us for the Q&A. So there is a question. What is the time frame based in a knowledge base? This is up to date, and I didn't understand the question. So there is a question, what is the time frame based on a knowledge base that is up to date? I don't know. Yeah. So there is a question regarding knowledge base, I guess. Yeah. So knowledge base, let me give you an overview of how we integrate with knowledge base. Um, so we have the way we go about integrating knowledge base is that if you have a robust knowledge base that your enterprise has been using for a long time, then we yeah, if you have a knowledge base like a ServiceNow or a Sharewell or any other knowledge base that you've been using for a while and you have a lot of knowledge base, then we use our AI and machine learning algorithms to parse through the entire knowledge base and to answer questions and map them to the questions that users are frequently asking for, which means we map it to your incidents, and based on that we are able to our smart algorithms are able to answer questions when somebody comes up with a solution. And this parsing and this integration is a continuous process. That means as and when you add a knowledge base article to it, the bot automatically parses that and maps that to a particular incident or to a particular topic. Right? So this whole process takes less than 2 days for us. So that's on the knowledge base integration. Now that is if you have a knowledge base. Now we, as a part of the managed services, we also offer knowledge base creation and implementation. So we have ITSM and service desk experts who can look at your incident management catalog and develop a knowledge base for you. So that is a end-to-end knowledge-based management service offering that we have. Do we have work for manufacturing clients? Of course, we have a lot of experience for manufacturing. I was just talking about two customers I can talk about. One is a large automotive manufacturing company based out of Michigan and Detroit, Michigan, and it's a global company. They have about 9 locations across the world, and they have a workforce of I think 6,500 IT users, IT service desk users, and we deployed a bot in a multi-language environment for them, which includes Spanish, Japanese, Mandarin, French. Of course, English is the biggest piece. So the functions that we automated for them. Incidentally, they have a Sharewell system for ITSM, and what we did was we automated several use cases for them, right from password resets to Oracle application troubleshooting, to we also automated some of the asset management requests for them, and so on and so forth. I can't divulge the exact use cases, but we automated some 16 different service catalog items for them. So that and I would like to just take this to, we have 10 more minutes, so I would wanted to take you through an ROI calculator. So team, can you see my ROI calculator? Okay. How about now? Yeah. Okay. So what we do is we have a simple and as well as a complicated ROI calculator that we built based on our experience with 30 odd deployments so far. So we've come up with an simple ROI calculator. In this case, somebody was talking about manufacturing. So here's the right example. So what we did was we kind of look at automations across three levels. So level 1 is the first call resolution types, and the use cases within them are password resets, desktop software troubleshooting, FAQs, process questions, software asset requests or hardware asset requests. Those we take it as a level 1. And then we look at the volume, annual volume, and we look at how much of those tickets can be automated by the bot, because bots cannot automate all your processes. So we took a 35%, let's say. Now this is very specific from customer to customer, but this is a very good methodology of capturing what is happening within your ecosystem. And the next would be the current average mean time resolution that is taking, total time spent on the resolution, and then we are able to calculate the dollar saving amount. Right? Similarly, and on level 2, then these are the requests. Level 2 type of incidents are asset requests, maintenance requests, keychain issues, hardware issues. These we consider as and custom application access, workflow based authorization and approvals. We consider these as level 2, and based on the same metrics, how many tickets per annum and all that. Once we fill this, we are able to look at, and level 3 are complex issues and triaging, and based on all the calculations, we are able to simplify and show you what is the annual cost savings that we might want to achieve. So this forms the basis of a very good business case. And this is a very simplified version of the ROI calculator, but we have a much more comprehensive template which captures a whole lot of data in granular detail by looking at. So we sign an NDA with you. Apologies. We sign an NDA with you, and then our team works with you. They capture all the existing ticket data, the nuances of that, and they will construct a comprehensive business case for you so that we can easily fund this kind of an activity. So that was on the ROI calculator. Any questions for me so far? So good. So if you have any questions at any point in time, because I'm sure once this is done, you must be having some questions. So you can send all your requests to Milind, who sent you the invite for this, or you can send it directly to me at vinil@servicenext.ai, or you can also send it to Rahul Pandey at sunayatech.com. So these are, and we'd be happy to, we will anyway reach out to you with a consolidated list of questions today and answers for that. And then you can probably, if you have any other questions, we can, use the same thread to continue the discussion. So I'll keep it open. We have 5 more minutes, so I'll keep it open for any other further questions that the audience might have today. I'll be happy to take. Okay, looks like there's okay, there's a new Q&A. Do we have the question, team? Okay, so we have 2 more minutes to go.
presentation copy available for us?
Sure. So the question was, is the presentation copy available to us? Yeah, of course. It is available, and
And the
yeah, sure. We can also share that with you. Absolutely. Yeah. So I will ask Milind to put together a package of information. We will have a data sheet. You will have this comprehensive presentation, and also a link to the recording so that it will be useful for you for reference. So thank you all very much for joining in today. I hope it was a productive discussion, and and most importantly, if you've had any questions, I hope I was able to answer them. And on a continuing note, please send us any questions that you might have, and we will respond back through an offline email communication. But appreciate your time. Please go ahead and have a great day. Thank you all for joining once again. Bye-bye.